The next application of Gauss law is electric field due to a uniformly charged spherical shell. That means we are having a spherical shell of radius capital R with a uniform charge over it and its surface charge is sigma. Then we will determine the electric field due to it. Now in the first part we will determine the field outside the shell. So we take a point P outside the shell at which we want to determine the electric field. So the procedure is to draw a Gaussian surface. In this case it is spherical Gaussian surface which will pass through the point P, or point under consideration. So the point P will be situated on the Gaussian surface. Now the radius of Gaussian surface is small r, where small r is greater than capital R because it is situated outside the shell. Now the steps, as I have already explained to you, the steps are simple. First we find electric flux by the conventional formula E dot S, and then we find electric flux by Gauss law Q upon epsilon and equate both. That is the simple process. So first for Gaussian surface of radius small r, flux is E dot S. Now both E and area vector S are parallel to each other. So theta 0, cos theta 1, and that's why simply E into S. Now here S means the surface area of Gaussian surface, that is 4 pi r square. The formula for surface area of sphere is 4 pi r square. And because we are finding the flux for Gaussian surface, so we have taken the surface area of the Gaussian surface only, that is 4 pi small r square. Now the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface, it will be same as the charge because the only charge enclosed is that present on the spherical shell. So the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is given as sigma into 4 pi capital R square, because sigma is the surface charge density of our spherical shell and 4 pi R square is its surface area. So charge is charge density into area. That's why total charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is sigma into 4 pi r square. Now according to Gauss law, flux is Q upon epsilon naught. We substitute the value of Q, sigma into 4 pi r square upon epsilon naught. So we get this value of flux. Now we have two expression for flux. We equate them both and solve. Whatever is being cancelled, we cancel, and we obtain the expression for electric field here. So this is the expression for electric field, Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And if we want to write it in vector form, then we put a unit vector r cap, because electric field is along the radius, it is radial, that's why the unit vector r cap. Okay, I would like to explain to you how we obtain the final expression for electric field outside a spherical shell. So we were having the expression for flux E into 4 pi r square, and another expression was sigma into 4 pi capital R square upon epsilon naught. This was from the Gauss law. So when we want to find out E, we equate both the expression for flux, we find out E, and sigma into 4 pi r square upon 4 pi small r square epsilon naught. This is what we have. And I can write sigma. Sigma is nothing but charge per unit area. So this is the surface charge density of spherical shell. So it will be given by total charge enclosed by spherical shell divided by its surface area. We are reducing the expression to its simple form, and that too in terms of charge. So this way we get the final expression Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And you can see that this is same as the expression that we obtained by Coulomb's law, by the concept of Coulomb's law. Electric field is given by, electric field due to charge Q is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square, if you remember. And if you want to write it in the vector form, now the next part is field inside the spherical shell. We have already determined the field outside the spherical shell. Now field inside the spherical shell. So we take the same spherical shell of radius capital R, but since our point at which we are determining the electric field is inside the shell, so we take the Gaussian surface inside the shell of radius small r. Now flux through Gaussian surface, again same procedure, because the radius of Gaussian surface is small r. Here small r is less than capital R. So the flux through Gaussian surface is E into the surface area of Gaussian surface 4 by r square. And the charge enclosed by, we want to determine by Gauss law. So charge Q is 0, because for a hollow spherical shell all of the charge is situated at the surface. No charge is present inside the spherical shell. So at the Gaussian surface charge is 0, because Gaussian surface is situated inside the spherical shell. Because charge is 0, then according to Gauss law phi is 0, flux is 0. So we equate the two values, expressions for flux, this and this. So we get E is equal to 0. That means electric field inside a spherical shell is 0. And this graph also shows the two results combined. For this is a graph between electric field and radius of spherical shell. For electric field for radii less than radius of the spherical shell. That means electric field inside the spherical shell is 0, that's why 0. And at the surface of spherical shell, electric field has the maximum value, and as the value of radius increases, means as we go outside, as the value of r increases, as we go outside the spherical shell, move outside the spherical shell of radius capital R, and in that case the electric field decreases exponentially, because electric field is inversely proportional to r square. It changes exponentially, inversely exponentially with radius or radius of the Gaussian surface r. This is an important graph.